Hey guys, we are back with
Messy on purpose.
She's Gotta See It. Okay, so today, this is a topic that I really like because I'm all about that self growth and breaking these habits. So I'm excited to go over it. We're going to talk about breaking habits that will break you. And
Easier said than done.
yes, and even as far as I've came mentally, like I'm still working on a lot
hmm
of these.
I
So
think it's a constant process of working on those things.
oh, 100%. I mean, we constantly fall back into old habits,
Yeah,
or some things are just not the easiest to break
it's true.
completely.
Especially when it stems from like having coping mechanisms from childhood or learned behaviors or something, then you really have to work a lot harder to break those
And
things.
sometimes they never go away because,
hmm
I mean, it's something you've been doing. You can't do something for,
40 plus
yeah,
years.
and then turn around and just quit on a dime.
hmm
Like, it's just not that easy. It
Yeah,
might take you your whole life to finally have a week without one
it's
sorry or
true.
whatever it might be. Okay, so the first one, let's start with. Sorry, I got a little piece of paper with my little list so I don't forget anything.
So legit.
I'm so fancy. I don't know why I don't use the computer, but okay. So saying yes when you mean no. This one's tough because when people ask you to do things, you feel bad when you say no.
Yeah.
It is hard, and it's something that I've personally worked on a lot in the last few years.
Yeah.
One thing that me and Justin have really tried to do is we're not going to go to an event we don't want to go to.
Yeah.
We're not going to commit to something we don't want to. If I
Yeah.
don't want to go see something or do something, I'm just going to say no. I'm not going to just fight myself to do it. And then the day
Mhm.
comes and I'm just dreading
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. And then also saying no, like when people ask for things or ask you to do things, you don't always have to say yes. And you don't have to kill yourself for other people all the time.
It's true.
And it's a hard thing to break because oh man, I was a little pushover for a
Yeah.
long, long time.
And if you're a people pleaser, for sure, you don't want to let people down. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think the saying yes to stuff, and it's like, God, I really don't want to do this, but then you feel guilty or you feel obligated, and it's like, oh, yes, I'll go. And just like you said, you're dreading it. And sometimes you end up enjoying yourself and it's a happy surprise. But I think when you already
Sometimes.
have that mindset of like, God, I don't want to do this, and then you just agree to it.
And it's
Eh,
kind of different if it's something that like maybe at the time you like agreed to it and you were like excited and the day of you're just not feeling
you're
it. That's a
sick or
different.
you just don't have
Yeah.
the energy or the capacity. Yeah.
But I'm more talking about like the things that like you completely don't want to do and then you're like, yeah, I guess. Or
Or
yeah,
you're
sure.
like, yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
it. But on the inside, you're dying.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I think there are some people that I know that are just like, no, I don't want to do that. Like Avery is really good at like, we'll try to peer pressure her, like, come on, Avery, you need to go have like a girl's time with us. And she's like, no.
no, I'm not feeling
No,
it.
I
Yeah,
don't
she'll
want
straight
to.
up tell us no.
She
Like, no
will. She
problem.
is very good at that. I
I
give
will
her credit for
say,
that.
I think the younger generation is actually
hmm
better at that
Yeah.
than we are.
I think we were guilted a little more into stuff.
Yeah, like growing up as even as kids, like I feel like we had a different childhood, like
Yeah.
where like you just did what you were
Yeah.
told
Yeah.
or you were asked of.
Yeah.
And I feel like these kids are more like everything was a little more relaxed. They had more choices
Yeah,
and
they
things
get to
like
make
that.
decisions. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want for dinner? When for me, it was like, this is what we're having for dinner.
I still can't believe people give their kids
I
a choice.
know. Or they're cooking multiple things because one kid likes this and one kid doesn't. I'm like, listen, this is what's for dinner.
Yeah, that's a lot of extra work
It
on a parent.
is.
And that is just, that one is a little chaotic. I do think
Yeah.
you should make your kids just
I
eat
have
whatever.
some strong opinions on that. We could get off on that for a
I
little
mean,
while, but
girl, there's no way with 5 kids that you can
I
cook 5
don't.
different dinners plus your own.
No,
There's no way.
especially when they were younger and I did a lot of like I would do specific grocery shopping for like this is the groceries for 2 weeks. These are the meals that I'm
Mhm.
making. This is what I made for dinner. Like,
Well, and like a lot of parents are struggling to even get by.
yeah.
Like when you're making multiple meals, that adds up.
And now we're a lot of times more of a convenient society where it's like, okay, you throw this in the microwave, you throw a hot pocket in the microwave, you can eat whatever you want, where it's not actual meals. But when you're making meals, like I spent a lot of time making this meal. Like, this is what's for dinner.
Well, and cooking for your kids, that's a health thing too. All those easy prep things are not good for them anyways.
So unhealthy.
So when you're making them a good healthy meal, I think making them eat it is probably a good thing.
And I was never the one like, you have to finish everything on your plate, like eat everything. Like, I'm not going to push for you to eat when you're not hungry. But as far as this is what's for dinner, I wasn't giving options. Like, what would you like to eat? It was like, hey, we're having this for dinner.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we grew up. Like, you ate or you didn't eat.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to like what we said with this generation. They have been given, so it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I feel like even with my kids, they're able to say, when I'm like, hey, do you guys want to do this? And like 2 of them will be like, yeah, I want to do it. And then 1 or 2 of them will be like, no, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm glad that they have that voice. I probably could have used that a little more.
It's like a happy medium, right? Like, as long as you teach them that they have a choice in most things, but it's also to mold them into society and how things work. Some things you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a choice when they call you for jury duty.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, like, Nevaeh has a concert tonight, and the boys are like, do we have to go to it? And I'm like, yes, we're going to it. We're going to support your sister. Now, when we went to the movies, it was like Vea didn't want it. Vea was like, I don't really want to go. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not going to force you to go see a movie you don't want to see and pay for it. But something like tonight, yes, you guys are all going. It's
a supportive
I'm going to give you choices, but I'm also still mama.
You're also teaching them to support each other. And I mean, sometimes that's unenjoyable for some parties, you know?
Yeah. Like, so kids, if you were trying to say no or say yes when you really mean no, you're saying yes anyway, whether you like it or not.
So that is a good skill. It's good to be able to say no, but it's also, you have to know where to say yes.
When it's appropriate.
Yeah. Yep. I think there's a happy medium there. And I think overall, both of us have gotten better with like the sane no.
Yeah. I don't want to give my time and energy, especially as limited as it is in my life, to things that I don't really want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So.
I'm
not going to say sorry. Speaking of
We're going to get to that. So that's actually the next one. Over apologizing for existing.
I did that.
She did. She led right into it. So this one's a tough one in general. I know growing up, I was a huge pushover. Like I got walked all over. And apologizing just for every little thing. Like, you catch yourself saying, sorry, I'll be at work. I didn't even do anything. And I said, oh, I'm sorry.
It's me. That could have been written for me. I say sorry so many times during the day. And I'll catch myself sometimes about to say, I've gotten better. I'm working on it. Because I'll catch myself like I'm about to say sorry for something that I have no control over and I didn't do. And I'm like, why am I saying sorry? Like,
or like something goes wrong, you had nothing to do with it, and then you're like, oh, I'm sorry that happened. Sorry. Like, why am I saying I'm sorry? It's like, that sucks that it happened, but I shouldn't take responsibility for
and that's what you're doing in a lot of situations when you're saying I'm sorry, is you're taking that responsibility onto yourself. Yeah. And obviously, if I've done something, I want to apologize for it. I want to acknowledge what I've done and 100%. Say sorry. But I feel like, my goodness, that is one of my biggest things. And it's funny that it came up in this, like, as the topic for this, because I have noticed it a lot. Like, God, how many times do I say sorry?
Once you start noticing it, then you got to start cutting it back. Yep. So I catch myself, like, saying it. I just think to myself, like, why did I do that? Stop doing that. Stop doing that. And it's gotten better, but I don't even know what I'm apologizing for.
And the funny thing is, I think that since I've noticed it more myself, I've noticed a lack of it more in other people. And I'm like, dang, other people aren't saying sorry as much as I
am. Like, and for some things, like, they shouldn't, right? Yeah. Like, we do overuse it.
Yeah.
But there are some things that, like, that you didn't even apologize.
And I want my apologies to have weight behind them too, where I'm not just saying it like, oh, I'm sorry. If I'm saying sorry, I actually want to mean that. I want it to carry weight.
Like you're taking responsibility for something that happened that is your responsibility. Like that is what
and
that's
then I'm
for.
actually apologetic for it, and I don't want to do this again.
Right.
If it's in my control.
Yeah. It's something that you can change and fix. Or maybe something that you can't change, but was your fault and you don't plan to make that mistake again. Or whatever it may be.
And that's one of the things I'm currently working on is like, if I saying having your words carry weight, like if I'm apologizing, I want that to mean, because the definition of like repentance is I don't want to do this again. It's not just saying I'm sorry just to like, I'm sorry, so the person will be like, oh, it's okay. I if I'm saying sorry, it means I really am sorry and I don't want to do this to you again.
Yeah.
Working on it. Working on it.
In process.
Yes.
Okay. How about over-explaining yourself? So
also me.
This kind of plays into the same thing. I feel like when you're over apologizing, you're kind of over explaining at the same time, because you're like, oh my gosh, and justifying every little action you take. And I feel like this happens a lot in like more of like when you're dealing with like a narcissistic. Yeah. Let me stumble over my words today. Too much caffeine, I guess.
And I need more.
I've had too much caffeine and lack thereof food. But anyway, when you're in those situations, you feel like you have to justify every move you make. And that's mostly because you feel like you have this person judging every move you make, right? And I don't feel like you do it as much when you aren't surrounded with those type of people.
I feel like I'm guilty of doing it when I want somebody to see my perspective of something. So it's like, maybe if I explain to them like my whole thought process, everything that happened, they're going to see it my way. And nobody's ever going to see it from your perspective. It's your perspective. Yeah. So I over explain way too much and I go into way too many details. And then I'm like, still didn't really accomplish anything. But yeah, I think that the over-explaining goes in hand with the apologizing, because I feel like that's when it comes into play a lot, is when you're apologizing, oh, this happened, and I just told you about my whole freaking experience with dropping my son off and all of that, instead of just, hey.
Which I feel like was more of a vent. You weren't like over-explaining yourself.
I also vent way too much.
Yeah. But like over-explaining yourself is... more talking about like justifying yourself to other people and your actions to other people, and you shouldn't have to, right? Like I shouldn't have to justify the things that I'm working on, the things that I'm doing. Yeah. I can talk about it and I can tell you about it, but I shouldn't have to tell you, oh, well, I can't go do this because blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't have to explain myself. Yeah. I just can't do that. Yeah. I can't help you, or whatever it might be. I shouldn't have to justify my actions. I shouldn't have to justify myself.
And see, if I couldn't be there, I'd be like, I'm sorry, this is what's I would apologize and then over explain.
And like I have literally like typed out like, hey, can't make this, or no, I can't go to this, or whatever it may be, and then I type out a reason, and I've literally erased it sometimes because I'm like, wait a minute, why
do I have to justify or explain?
Yeah, so like you have to catch yourself sometimes, but like I try not to do that. I mean, I still do.
It's situational too. Yeah. I think certain circumstances you want to give a reason why you can't make something, but in other cases it's just like,
or if you don't want to go to something, you shouldn't have to justify why you don't want to go. Like if somebody's having some kind of get together and I just don't want to go, I just don't want to go. Yeah. Like, no, thank you. I can't.
Thank you for the invitation. Yeah. What would Avery do?
She'd say no. And there would be no explanation.
No, it'd just be like, no. I'm not going.
Oh, we can learn a little from everyone, right? Yeah. Okay, next. Waiting for the right time to start. I actually posted a video about this today. I don't know if you've seen it yet because you're in the car. But so I'm doing the whole 30 days of positive talks that you've seen. And I talked about new beginnings and how there is no right time or wrong time to start, right? Like you shouldn't wait for January 1st to start a health goal. You shouldn't wait
The
until
first of the month.
Monday to start anything. Start today. Start right now. Start in an hour. Start whenever like you can start, and not like wait for a certain day, a certain time, things to be perfect. That's the worst thing. A lot of people want to start businesses and things like that, and then they wait for that right time, or when I have enough money.
Yeah.
I mean, a good example of starting something from scratch and not really. I mean, we started this. We just started. We talked about it, for like 2 weeks, and then we just started recording, and we've slowly grown. We went from working in the salon because it was a cute little spot to building our own little studio here in my office. And like, I feel like that is something a lot of people don't do. They don't just jump in. Like, you have to jump in. Everything is a learning process. And if you don't start, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah. I agree with you. That is one thing that I feel like I'm pretty good at, is because I don't have a lot of time. I'll be like, I'm going to do this, and I just start doing it. Like, I don't wait till this time is going to be right. I did the same thing when I left nursing and started the salon. I was like, I'm not happy where I am. I'm going to look for a salon. I found it. I put the offer in. I put my 2 weeks notice in.
It's that simple.
So that is something that I feel, because all the other ones have been,
she's like targeted.
Just attacks on me. But that one, no, I don't wait till tomorrow what I can do today. I don't know if I have tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. And I like to, too. So if I have a list of things I need to get done, one of my favorite things is to do the things that I don't want to do first, or the like worst, those hard little things out right away. Because you push those off. Now it's the end of the day. Now it's I don't feel like it. Now you're procrastinating.
And I made it so much. We've had conversations like this before where you build it up so much in your head and you're dreading it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then I sat down and did it. And don't get me wrong, it sucked. It's taxes. But I was like, I think I procrastinated on this for like 2 months just because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. And that's all
I knew
it
I
is
had
usually.
time. And it was like, I have till this date to actually file my taxes, hoping that they'd be abolished before I ever filed. Positive thinking.
Taxes.
But yeah, I put it off just because I was like, ugh, this sucks. I don't want to do it. And then I did it. And I was like, God, I could have done that months ago and just had it out of the way.
It's already done.
Yeah. After I said I'm not guilty of that. So I guess I have a little bit of that in me.
I think we all do. We all procrastinate. It's not so. This is such a wide kind of topic. A little bit like starting big things is a lot like bigger and more. You can more procrastinate with that in a different way. And I feel like small stuff we procrastinate every day. Yeah. You know, even if it's 10 minutes, I'm going to sleep in for 10 more minutes or whatever. Silence our alarm. That's procrastinating, right?
I'm gonna wash my hair tonight.
Oh, yeah. That one's the worst. I do that for days.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. I'm like, try shampoo.
But what's funny is we end up doing these things anyways. We just put them off and stress ourselves out for no reason. Simple as or making a phone call. Isn't that the worst? When you have to call somewhere? It's like, oh, I'm going to have to deal with that stupid automated system that's going to be like, what do you want? And I can't just press a button. It's got to talk to it. And then it doesn't understand you. Yeah. So those kind of phone calls I put off so bad.
I hate phone calls. I would rather like do just about anything than talk. Unless it's to like a friend or a family member. I hate talking on the phone. Thank God.
And even then, like, we're just like rather text, you know, like.
Unless it's something just too big that I can't. It's faster for me to call. I would rather text.
100%. It's so funny. Justin's broker called me earlier. He called me twice for the same thing. And then the second call, he was like, did you show Justin yet? And I was like, no. And I was like, he's in the garage. He's like, I'll have him give me a call. And I go downstairs and I was like, hey, Justin, Matt wants you to give him a call. And he's like, why can't he just text me?
Exactly. That's another thing with our society now. Like before when we had landlines and stuff, that was our communication. So you'd talk and you were more comfortable with it because that's how you communicated. Oh,
I remember being a teenager. I was on the phone all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Always on the phone.
Yeah. Yep.
I fell asleep on the phone.
Yeah, they'll be talking to her friend. They'll be on FaceTime calls, a whole group of them, and I'm like, ugh. Yeah.
We're like,
why don't you just text each other?
And I feel like we're all like our age group is like very weird about the video calls.
Like you're like, from this angle, it looks like I'm just like shooting it down here. From this angle, I've got 13 chins.
Like someone calls you FaceTime, you're like, nah.
You're trying to figure out like how to hold the phone where the lighting is good. How sad is that?
Let me get the right angle.
It's so sad that we're like that. I feel like my grandma had a chance to like FaceTime one of her family members that was in Tennessee, she wouldn't have cared what she looked like. She would have just, what?
Well, and I feel like
call?
Our parents and like grandparents don't care.
Yeah, no.
Don't care.
No, there was not the whole image thing.
It's totally different. Like we're like that in between that care a little more.
Mm-hmm. But then I have to say my daughter, like with Vea, I don't think she gives a crap. She'll be
that's what I mean.
Like, putting the phone down here, she'd be like, Mom, say hi. And I'm like, don't. So they're like, they don't care as much.
It's just like the millennials.
And then the generation before us, they wouldn't have cared, but we're like, oh wait, let me check.
I'll be like on the camera and I'll be like, oh, what the heck is
your
going
hair?
on?
Like, instead of just having the conversation.
Yeah. Too much
so
going on.
Sad.
I'll put the phone in weird spots and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Ugh,
I'm so
that
sorry.
looks weird.
Sorry.
Look at my armpit.
Or you'll be in the car and you got it on the thing.
You're holding, like you're trying to,
Oh, yeah. So,
we just went off on a whole different rant.
Sorry. That's what we do. It's messy. Okay. Let's talk about shrinking to make others comfortable and like minimizing your accomplishments. Okay. So this one I've personally felt a lot with like family. Mm-hmm. Always feeling like I can't really say what I've accomplished. I can't really be myself for a really long time. I actually don't talk to a lot of family anymore. A lot of the reason is because I can't just be myself and I get judged and it's just not worth it, right? Like sometimes you just want to be you. And growing up, I feel like I shut myself down a lot. I was a very shy kid, like didn't express myself. I'm not who I am now where I'm very outspoken. I say things. I have hard conversations. I'm a little nuts. I don't need alcohol anymore because I'm just a little crazy. Y'all see me twerk. So.
You're right.
It's like one of those things that like you shut yourself down and then you don't get to be who you are. And it feels like you're almost like alone. Mm-hmm. It's a weird feeling of like just being alone.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like I don't really acknowledge my accomplishments that much. So, and that's probably, I'm sure I can find out in therapy that probably stems from,
okay.
Probably stems from something where I don't like, sometimes my dad will tell me he's proud of me for the things I'm doing or what somebody else, my kids or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, thank you. Like it means a lot, but I think my proudest accomplishment is being a mom. So it's like, other people tell me their accomplishments and I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I don't know that I shrink myself around people. Maybe if it was like, felt like me saying something I had accomplished would bother somebody else, I probably would. Honestly, I'm a people pleaser. That's one of the things I have to work on. Like, I don't like to make anybody else feel smaller or less than. So I do tend to just kind of focus on them, what they've got going on.
I oddly I see it when when I talk about certain things with certain people. You can see some insecurities come out of people. Mm-hmm. And like that's usually when like I would hold back, right? Yeah. Not anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm not. I am who I am. I do the things. I work really freaking hard and I'm quite proud of that.
And you should be. Yeah. I don't think anybody should shrink themselves around anybody else. Like we all have our good qualities. We all have our bad qualities. We all have victories. We all have losses. Like if you feel like you're having to shrink yourself to be around certain people, you shouldn't be around those people.
Exactly. That is exactly what I do is I cut people out and that's fine. And the other side of that is being proud of other people too, right? Like I'm not going to be this person that's super open about the things I do if I'm not going to be proud of other people.
Yeah.
And I am so proud of other people,
Yeah.
like so much so that I try to help people
Yeah.
reach their goals and do these things. So like you have to have both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talking like just the term shrinking yourself. If you can be loud about your own accomplishments, you should be loud about other people's accomplishments as well.
And you should never feel any less because somebody else is successful in a certain way. We all have our own little journey.
Yeah, I agree with that fully, because you don't know what somebody had to go through to reach the success that they reached. I don't know, like when Lauren was on from Lala Photography and she was talking about, photographers would come in and they'd be like, oh, I'm going to go start my own photo studio. You don't know the blood, sweat, and tears she put in to build that photo studio. And maybe there were circumstances that it was like she was in the right place at the right time or met the right person or whatever. But everybody's success comes differently and has different work behind it. So I'm never going to take away from anybody's accomplishments. I also am not going to be jealous of it.
No. And like you said, everybody has these small battles and we don't see those. We only see success. Yeah. Nobody's going to get on social media and be like, oh, I had a crap day. I'm working on this. Like nobody's showing the struggles. Nobody's showing their everyday life.
My shampoo bowl busted at the salon and I've got to figure out how to get a plumber in here. No,
you don't see that stuff.
Yeah, we're not sharing that stuff.
No.
Like, let me take this money out to pay for my washer and dryer. Like, you're just seeing what's going on, the beautiful pictures that are posted.
Millionaires and billionaires have gone through bankruptcy and things like that. Do you think they post about that? No. Do you think they talk about that? No.
Maybe some of them.
Yeah, some of them, but to an extent. But they're not telling you when they were in bankruptcy that they're in bankruptcy. They weren't exposing every little issue because during those issues, the most important thing was to work through and keep going.
We don't do it in our lives.
No.
We, social media, curated experience. You're seeing what I want you to see. You're getting the image that I'm projecting to you. You're not seeing all the behind the scenes.
No.
Even like reality TV, I think it's so funny because it's like reality TV. It's edited. There are retakes. There's stuff edited out, stuff put in, like, the only reality you actually have is the reality you're living in yourself, because you don't see everything else.
Well, and anything somebody tells you that they're even going through is their perspective of it. And then you take it how you see it. It doesn't matter how you tell me something. I'm only going to take it the way I see what you're telling me. So, we don't know.
Yeah.
You can tell me from start to finish your entire salon experience. I'm not going to understand it.
No.
I'm not going to understand the struggles of it.
And there would be details left out. And so, to go back to that topic, if you are shrinking yourself, stop.
Yes. Stop.
We need to be our own. We need to be our own biggest cheerleaders. And that doesn't mean you have to walk around being boastful or arrogant about it, but you should never shrink yourself for somebody else.
Never. And if you feel like you have to, that person is not right for you. Yeah. And clearly you're not right for them, right? Because if they are insecure based off of you expressing your experiences and your accomplishments, like they're having their own issues based off of how you make them feel. So you're not good for them and they're not good for you. Yeah. That is a very common thing. And I hate when people think that you should just keep people in your life because you've known them forever or whatever it may be. Like, it's okay to get rid of those because usually they're not working for both.
Yeah. Agree.
All right. You ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
Ooh. Staying silent to keep the peace. This was our last week's episode.
In so many ways, though.
Yeah.
Guilty.
I'm guilty too.
I feel like I'm raising my hand to everyone.
I
think honestly most people are guilty of most of these, if not all of them, in some way or another.
I think a lot of people don't say things because it's going to cause conflict, and we avoid conflict. Like, that's basically what it is. Growing up, I just kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to get yelled at.
Yeah. And for me, I hate like disagreeing or arguing with anybody, especially the people that are important in my life. So it's like, I know that there is one of my favorite Bible scriptures is there's power of life and death in the tongue. And a lot of times when you're in an emotional space, you can say stuff that you don't actually mean, but it cuts pretty deep, and that's not going to be forgotten. So it's one of the things that I have worked on in my life, is not saying stuff in the heat of the moment, because I had stuff said to me in the heat of the moment that still sticks with me. You can forgive it, but you can't forget it. So I try to be very conscientious, and I would rather stay silent than say something that I'm going to regret. But I also do a disservice to myself a lot of times doing that, because I don't defend myself or stand up for myself. If somebody's saying negative, ugly things to me, I'll just quiet. And there's pros and cons to that.
So I will say that, like, I won't engage in stuff like that specifically. You can say whatever you want about me. Because here's the thing. I could care less. That's probably why things on social media don't bother me.
Yeah.
And well, it doesn't help that I know a lot of my family talks crap about me. But anyway, but none of that really bothers me. So, like, I don't know. I guess I look at it like they're just expressing whatever they're thinking, and that's fine. But behind that, I am cutting that person off, right? Because here we are with a situation that doesn't work for anyone.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, when you have situations with people that it's harder to cut them out of your life, with relations like family or whatever, I am the type of person that I have a thick skin, but I also have a thin skin. Like, I have a thick skin in the sense that I won't let stuff tear me down to a breaking point where I can't function, but I will let stuff hurt me that's said to me. And I do. I will stay quiet. And a lot of times I don't cut people out of my life that have been hurtful to me, because I try to, like, okay, maybe they were in the heat of the moment. Hurt people. I understand that. And there are just certain people that no matter, like, how much you try to help them and be like, hey, you can't lash out at people like this just because you're hurting. Like, hurting somebody else because you're hurting doesn't make the situation better. It doesn't change anything. So I'm just going to stay silent at that point.
Isn't it funny, too, that, like, people actually think that just because someone hurt you, you should hurt them back? Like, I just don't understand what you get out of that. Or holding grudges. Like, I don't understand that either. Like, it's just something you're holding on to. It's so much garbage that just sits with you.
There's nothing good that comes out of it.
No.
You don't have to agree with everything that I do. You don't even have to like the things that I do. But does it help anything for you to, like, say hurtful stuff to me? I'm not going to say hurtful stuff to you just because I'm hurting about something. Like, we're just going to keep hurting each other.
Just go say it to somebody else. You don't have to hurt that person to their face. I know that sounds bad, but, like, go gossip if that's what makes you feel better. But, like,
kind of stuff does more damage to yourself personally than it does to the other person.
But if you need it, go do that. But like, it's not worth it. It's not worth hurting somebody for no reason.
Get a freaking journal.
Yeah, there you go.
Write out. I am notorious. It's one of the things that I do that has helped me so much in my adult life, is there are certain things that I want to say to people that I cannot say in good conscience. So I will write a letter to them as if I'm talking to them, just to say the things that I need to say and get off my chest without me having to hurt somebody in the process.
Yeah. It's a very simple concept.
So I guess it's not really staying silent. It's just staying silent.
And I wouldn't even say it's really keeping the peace either, right? It's just more like some things are meant to be said. So, and like going back to that, I think we kind of turned it a little bit, but I think it's more like the topic we talked about last week. Like, we talked about staying silent when there comes to a sexual assault or something along those lines, something more serious, staying silent because maybe another example might be not so extreme. You want something and you're staying silent because you think that the people around you don't want it, or you're just trying to make other people happy. Maybe that's a form of, not necessarily because we're trying to shrink ourselves, which we already talked about. More like staying quiet and not getting things you want out of life. or staying quiet to protect other people that don't deserve to be protected.
See, I think I did that in my early life, so I'm not in that scenario. I don't.
Yeah. And
I
it's
would
something
rather
that,
speak up for things that are you know, something bad or a disservice or something.
yeah.
I think for me more it's staying silent when I feel like something doesn't deserve my energy anymore.
And that is great. I think that
Mhm.
is something totally different. That's a different kind of,
Staying silent.
yeah.
There's a strength in that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But there's the strength in speaking up. So like if
Mhm.
you see something in public, so this is a great example actually. So I was talking with a girl I work with, and she
Mhm.
was telling me about a situation on a bus in LA.
Mhm.
So there was a girl that had a dress on,
Mhm.
and this guy slid underneath as she was getting off the bus to look under, and not one person said
Oh my
anything.
gosh.
And so I can get why the girl that I work with didn't say anything. She's a female on a bus. Like she shouldn't. But
I probably still would have said something.
She's a really small girl too. Like
yeah, I don't blame
know.
her just
Yeah.
for me.
But she said there was like 4 people right next to them.
Crazy.
That not one person said anything. That blows my mind.
That's crazy.
So keeping silent in those situations, when you see something wrong in public, you
Yeah.
see a child that's in distress, you see some guy being aggressive with a woman, like
Mhm.
those are things that you should step up and say something.
Mhm. You see somebody kicking a dog that
Yeah.
isn't, like, whether it's their dog or not, but they're like kicking a dog.
Like,
and
knock
you
it
just,
off.
like,
What are you doing?
walk past.
Or like our neighbors on the other side here, their dogs get let outside in the middle of the summer when it's 125 degrees
Yeah.
here, and they leave them out all day while they're at work.
Mhm.
Like, that's abuse.
Yeah.
So we're going to say something, and we're going to call Animal Protective Services.
Yeah.
Like that is, or kids are getting abused in a home, you should call Child Protective Services.
Absolutely.
Like, these are things that we should not keep silent about.
Yeah, those are things that you see something, you say something.
Yeah, and that doesn't directly hurt you by staying silent, but it does hurt other people, and that is a problem.
I think that's the distinguishing factor between the things we've talked about, is something that's personally happening to you or something that you're seeing and you're like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
You have to be able to stand up. I'm not the best at standing up for myself in a lot of scenarios, but you let somebody do something to somebody else in front of me, it's on. Like, I am really good at advocating for other people, not doing the greatest job of like protecting myself from stuff, something I'm working on, but I will never stay silent when it comes to somebody else.
Yeah. And I think there's a balance there, right? Like, we
Mhm.
need to step up and do things when it's needs to be done. But at the same time, there's times where you have to keep the peace and you do have to stay quiet. But there are extreme situations that you should never be quiet.
Agreed again.
Who would have
Guys, I haven't said with that being said once.
And then she goes and says it. All right.
I've just said agreed 18 times on this one.
I've said 100% like 1,000 times at this point.
Almost 100% of the time.
Okay, so where are we at? Okay, ignoring your gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So listening to your intuition. This one, it's weird. So like for a long time, I questioned myself, questioned that gut feeling. And we've been here for like 4 years now, I think. And Vegas, one thing that it's taught me is to listen to my gut, because there's been a lot of situations, a lot of people that I've met. My gut feeling told me one thing and it was right every single time. So I've been listening to it more. Like if something's off about somebody, I know there's something off. Like we had an experience with a person that we felt that way, and still pretty sure. And so like we used to go to a lot of networking events, and what I realized here, and I'm sure it's a lot of places, but this is different. Like I came from the Midwest, and then we lived in Colorado, where I feel like most people were kind of who they were. Yeah. That they were
a crunchy environment.
Yeah. Good way to put it. And then you move here and it's different, right? Everyone is putting up this show of who they are, and it's not really who they are. Yeah. They'll buy they'll rent fancy cars to look like this baller. They'll wear the chains, the watches, and put up this whole look and say that they're this person that they want to be.
Yeah.
But not the person that they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a really, really hard thing to like kind of narrow down.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to my gut more, I swear to you, every time I've been right.
Yeah.
And like just something's off, something's off, something's off. And then bam, it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that was something I learned here to listen to that more.
The whole intuition thing. So when I was younger, one of the conversations I had with my dad, because I was like, I don't know if this is intuition. And my dad said, you have to walk a fine line between intuition and suspicion. Because there are times, and this is where your mental health comes into play, where your mind can be your worst enemy. And things are happening and you start putting 2 and 2 together in your head and you think you have something figured out. And that's more suspicion. Intuition, you get those like gut instincts, like this person seems nice, but I feel like there's something under it.
I feel like the suspicion starts first.
Mm-hmm.
And then when things click with that suspicion, that's when the intuition kicks
and I
in.
think I try to walk, because I've been around people that are just suspicious about everything and they think everybody is bad and everything has bad intentions.
That's paranoia.
Yeah, true. But having that suspicious spirit, I mean, if you've seen it, like, good Lord, like, not everything is bad. Like, some things are bad.
Yeah.
And you give them too much leeway, but not everything's bad. That being said,
we had to.
I try to take my time where I don't jump to conclusions. And I feel like if you give a person enough rope, they'll hang themselves. So instead of me jumping straight to my suspicion, I'm going to keep that intuition in mind and what I'm feeling, and I'm going to see if that's how it turns out to be. I'm not going to give you too much if I'm already having a gut feeling about like there's something off about this, but I'm also not going to just like completely like, I'm not with that. I'm not dealing with that person, because I could be completely wrong. Your mind does play with you sometimes.
You just got to be like cautious of your thoughts in general. Mm-hmm. Usually if I have a gut feeling, it's something that I've already observed, not that I'm just like fishing for
things.
Yeah, it's not like I don't really like suspicion. Like I'll talk about it. Like I'll talk to you and be like, hey, I feel this way, or I seen this and this just seems
some
off.
kind of vibes are weird.
Or like I'll talk to Justin or whatever. But like I'm not gonna just jump to like there's something wrong, right? It has to, and like when I get it, it's like literally
sometimes you just get the ick from somebody where you're like,
makes me sick.
Yeah,
like you feel like gross butterflies almost. Like it's not good.
Yeah, I feel like there have been times for sure where I've met somebody for the first time and it's like, oh.
And I am big on vibes. I'm big on vibes.
Yeah.
So like I feel like people do give off certain vibes, and like I mean, I'm big on like, if you're not right for me, I'm not right for you kind of thing. And so like if the vibe isn't right or I'm not comfortable around somebody, I'm not going to continue to engage. Yeah. And that's not based off of like intuition or my gut feeling. Yeah. That's just
you get me the ick.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be around you. I think that because we, like you said, going to just different events or being around people, there are certain people you meet and immediately it's like, this person's super cool. Like we met Talencia at Meredith's tea party and it was like, oh my, like, ugh, you just feel that.
Yeah.
But then there's other people that you meet and you're like, walk over.
Not to name drop.
Over there. I'm not going to drop any names.
No, I'm just kidding.
Like, but then there's other people that you're around them and it's like, I can't really figure you out. I feel like you have an image that's you're portraying, but I don't think it's the same thing. That's
something's not adding up.
Yeah. So then at that point, it's like, suspicion kicks in a little bit, and the intuitions.
And then you're just kind of watching it, waiting to see what else happens. To see
if you're right or if it's like, maybe people have personality quirks or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe
I was wrong about this person.
Which is different than being paranoid, right? Like I feel like a good example of like paranoia
Mm-hmm.
versus like suspicion and using your intuition is if somebody you're dating is cheating,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
There's some kind of like
you
gut.
know something's off. There's something there, right?
Yes.
But there's also some people who just automatically think people are cheating and
yes,
they're not.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Is there are some people that they really have, you know, past traumas, or they just have those insecurities where it's like
they're not confident in themselves, and they're just constantly worried that this person is going to leave them.
Cheat on them, leave them, find somebody else. And that's where it comes in, where it's like, is that your intuition, or is that...
Like, is there really signs, or are you just making up signs?
And listen, when you go looking for something, a lot of times you're going to find something. And I say that not to say that everybody is doing wrong, but when you're already in the mindset that you're going to like investigate somebody, you're going to find something that's going to be like, oh, see,
You can
you
always
may not even know the whole story, but it's like, oh, I knew it. Yeah. I knew it.
Yeah.
Because you're in your mind, you've already made up that they're doing something wrong because you're going looking to find what you can find that they're doing
you've
wrong.
Never really actually had proof. You're just making up this situation. Maybe he spent too much time at the store.
Yeah.
You know?
You're like checking the sales girl that
looking at his location. Like,
oh my gosh, I can't.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh Lord.
So
yeah, got a little hot in here.
It is hot in here. These lights are like
we're under the lights.
I'm like, okay, hair up maybe next time. Okay. Making excuses for people who keep hurting you. I know that's something you're working on.
Mm-hmm. I think when you love somebody, you want to believe the best and see the best in them no matter what. And it's a lot harder because I think somewhere deep down subconsciously, it's like, if this person isn't loving me or they're not treating me properly, like maybe it's because I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I don't deserve their respect or their love. And so it's easier to make excuses to justify the reasons why they're acting the way they're acting, instead of just being like,
or like looking at it like, what's wrong with them that's causing these insecurities versus blaming yourself. Yeah. Because it isn't your fault. If you're working on yourself and you're being the best person you possibly can, it is not your fault if someone else is insecure.
It's true. And that insecurity comes in so many different relationships too.
Like you can find it in any relationship. It doesn't matter.
And I am the type of person where it's like, if something's going wrong in one of my relationships, I will try to look at what I'm doing wrong and like what I can change or what I can fix. And I'm justifying behaviors that are being done to me. And I want to say that's a beautiful thing about myself.
So no, that's
also like,
that is a good habit, but you also have to realize that if somebody else isn't putting in that same effort, that relationship will never be okay.
Yeah.
Because so a good example, me and Justin, right? Mm-hmm. If one of us is doing something to better the relationship, but the other one is not, it's going like this, right? It's going like this.
Scale, yeah.
And so you both need to be bringing each other up by both working on yourselves and your relationship. And that doesn't matter if it's a love relationship, a friend relationship, a family member, your child, business relationship. It doesn't matter. And unless the other person is working on themselves, you can't continue to take the full blame.
That's true.
Because it's a two-way street in any relationship.
Yeah.
There's no relationship if you both aren't doing anything.
Yeah. And we can all make excuses and justifications.
Yeah. And there's always room for improvement for all of us, right? We're always working on ourselves. And if you're not, you better get to it.
Every one of us, yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what I accomplish. There's always something else I want to accomplish. And that's should be everyone, because we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect.
Yeah. There's never like a finish line.
No.
Until you take your last breath. you want to constantly be evolving and being a better version of yourself.
And you don't know when that is, so don't put that off. Don't procrastinate.
Yep. This is heavy.
This is a lot. Sorry. I wanted to apparently touch base on everything.
Everything.
Okay. Letting fear of judgment stop you from being seen. So I actually read a book on this that was really good.
Mm-hmm. What's the book?
I can't remember the name of it. I have it in my thing. If you want to read it, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something that we talked about kind of earlier when, what was it? We were talking about apologizing for existing and like kind of shrinking yourself and all that stuff. So it kind of goes hand in hand, right? But that was something that I dealt with growing up. Like I couldn't be myself because I felt like I was being judged by other people. And I still felt like that as an adult up until I mean, we moved to Denver, which opened me up a little bit, but like I wasn't around the right people yet, right? Like it's just we just talked about it. It's just a different kind of people, and it's just not my people, you know? And when we moved here, I started doing like the modeling stuff and the acting and like just putting myself out there, trying things that absolutely terrify me. And it completely flipped. And I no longer care about being judged. I can get silly and not, you know, be myself and annoy the heck out of my husband. It's great.
Oh, Justin.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times a week he tells me I talk too much. In a roundabout way. It's usually on his face.
I could probably take a little guess.
100%.
With that being said.
Oh, I love that we have our catch lines down. Okay. But yeah, so I keep bumping this, so sorry. But yeah, so being able to jump out of that fear and really be yourself is such a like uplifting thing. I can't even describe how good it feels to not care.
Yeah. I agree. I think that you're going to be judged no matter what you're doing. If you're doing good, if you're doing bad, if you're doing this, you're doing that. Everybody has opinions.
Oh, yeah.
On whatever you're doing. I also think that people have expectations of you that you're like, all right, certain people expect me to be this way. Certain people expect me to be that way. I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, especially recently, is like, who do I want to be without anybody else, like their perspective being important to me? How do I want to represent myself? What kind of woman do I want to be? How do I want other people to like look at me and they're like, wow, this is Heather. Without anybody else telling me what to do, where to go, who to be with, what to wear, how to work.
What do you want?
Who do I want Heather to be?
Yeah.
And that is the thing that I'm working on currently, because it's like you have conflicting, because you let all the different voices in, you know, and other people's opinions. And it's like, kind of have to sit with yourself and be like, all right, freak everybody else's thoughts and opinions. Who do I want to be?
Yeah.
And how do I start accomplishing that?
Without thinking about what other people think.
I'm sure, like, even people that follow my social media, there'll be times where I put more selfies up or I don't put as many selfies up, or I'm putting more motivational quotes, or I'm putting more funny stuff. My life is an evolution, and every day it's like a process of where I'm kind of figuring out, like, yes, this makes me happy. No, this doesn't make me happy. So I might change things about myself, my behaviors, whatever, because I'm trying to figure out exactly what makes me happy and who I want to be. When everybody else's opinion is like, that's your opinion.
You can't do it if other people are in your ear all the time. Like, you have to be able to silence the,
have to be able to
noise.
Let it go.
Yeah. The noise around you, because it's going to be there no matter what, especially if you're on social media. Like, it's bad enough the things people say to you on a regular basis, right? But then you have social media, and if you're open on social media, like, some of the things that people say and put out there, or tell you what to do or whatever it may be, those are just like constant.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the thing for me right now is like the judgment. I can confidently say at this point in my life, and I will say us doing the podcast about some of the traumas I experienced in my childhood was very freeing in the sense that I feel like I get to authentically be me and not be concerned about what anybody else thinks I should be saying, doing, whatever. When you're learning to love yourself and embrace yourself and exactly who you want to be, it's a hard process, man.
It's very hard.
And you're going to take 2 steps forward, 4 steps back, 6 steps forward, 3 steps back. Like, as you kind of evolve into who you are meant to be and want to be.
And who you are and who you're meant to be and want to be change, right? Over time. Like, you start the process, day 1 never looks exactly like day 10 or day 100 or day 365 or, you know, whatever it may be. It changes. It's an ongoing process, and you are figuring it out as you go, because just because you start with one idea doesn't mean you need to stick with it.
That's the funny thing about me is, like, I don't want to say it's been like a chameleon my life, but because there were so many struggles and like obstacles, you're trying to figure out where you fit in and what your place is in this life. And when I was younger, we were very, very involved in church because my dad was a pastor, my granddaddy was a pastor. We dressed very modestly, but like how I'm dressed today, like high neck, long
completely
sleeves.
Covered.
Yeah, you're not showing your body. It's a modesty thing. I've also done modeling where, you know, I'm like my body is being completely out there exposed for everybody to see it. And it's like you have to go through different phases and moments in your life to kind of figure out like, yeah, like I'm leaning more towards that. That's what works for me more so than that. Does that mean it works for anybody else? No, but like you have to kind of change who you are. And like you said, as you evolve and grow, like now being in my 40s and having children, I'm a different version than I was when I was in my 20s. And I didn't have other people to think about or, you know, how they were going to be perceived based off of the image that I was putting out there. So it kind of evolves and you're like, okay, I'm going to figure out how I put all the facets of myself together into this one version that's just beautiful and authentically me.
It's a process. It's a long
every single day.
Well, and everything that you experience along the way kind of shapes it, right?
It does.
I mean, shoot, 6-7 years ago, I wouldn't have thought about doing a podcast. I wouldn't have even put myself out there on social media. You know, now I make stupid videos and I talk. Yeah. And I just ramble. And I don't even care if 2 people
it's what you love and you're doing it for you. And that's the same when we started this. I was like, man, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. Like, if there is anything I can say, like, if one person, and by the way, after doing the one we did last week, I did have somebody reach out to me. And it was like, obviously I want a story like that being told to help other people and have some kind of positive effect on other people, where they find their voice as well. That's why I'm doing it. Yeah. That's why I'm here. That's why we get messy and we give details of our life and we have these hard conversations.
And we bring people on with experiences and things because we're exposing the messy. That's the whole purpose of the name. Yeah. We literally came up with it because life is messy.
And I will have to say, doing the podcast has helped me to kind of like look at myself and how I want to portray myself and what kind of image and stuff. Like when you're putting yourself out there in that manner, you see a lot more about yourself than you do when you're just going through your daily life. Yeah. So, yeah.
And it progresses too. Like I feel like our first episode might have been a little more rocky than, you know, this one.
I think it was just a lot of me laughing.
Yeah, probably. I don't even know now. Like this is the 22nd.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're making along. We're very consistent with them, and I feel like we've evolved a lot in a lot of ways. Not just the production. I mean, we've evolved in how we communicate, the topics that we cover, the people that we have on.
Well, I mean, it'd be pretty crappy if we're sitting on here telling people that you should constantly be evolving and changing if we're not doing the same thing.
Yeah,
I would hope that my life has some purpose and meaning other than my children, which is my greatest purpose and meaning in life, but also if like I want me being here to have made a difference in a positive way.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole going to work and all of that. It's a means to an end. We have to have money to pay our bills and stuff. But I want my life to have a purpose behind it. My name, Messy on Purpose.
See, messy life.
Yes,
we have purpose.
We want to have a purposeful life. I want to leave something behind when I'm no longer here.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully, these help people, and you know,
if not, it's helped me.
Yeah, if anything, this is therapy for us. So
it has helped me.
If you don't get entertainment out of us laughing, it's fine. But
or little quirky lines that we say or anything else, I think that is something that's really strong. We talked about the silencing yourself and stuff. Is finding your voice and being able to talk on this has been so empowering. Yeah. And that'd be one piece of advice I give is, obviously, you don't have to do a podcast. Do it if you want to, though. Like,
no, but like even
do
just
a podcast,
getting on,
but just talking.
Yeah, getting on social media, that's huge. Like just to be able to record a video of you talking. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it gets 2 views. If it makes you feel better and makes you more confident. Those 2 views may be 2 people that needed to hear exactly what you had to say. And it's therapeutic. Like you can actually, like, it does help, like express yourself. Because sometimes you don't have someone to talk to in the moment.
And it's all just stuck up in here.
My brain literally goes a million miles per hour, especially in the morning at the gym when I'm trying really hard not to text people at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I try really hard, and sometimes I still do. Yeah. But like I have all the thoughts, like all of them are going through me, and that's why like 9 times out of 10, if I have a video that I put out, it's usually when I'm leaving the gym.
And it was all the thoughts you had.
Yeah, it was around in there. Well, it was the one of a million that I actually talked about.
That's all right. Jot the other ones down for the next
I used to have an ongoing list and I never really went back to it, so I was like, eh.
Well, that was a way for you to get it out.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. I'd have lots of random thoughts. All right, what do we next? Because it's getting hot in here.
It's so hot.
Choosing comfort over growth.
I mean, that could be every area of your life, honestly.
Yeah. I'm scared of comfort, actually. I've talked about that many times on here. Like, I'm scared of being too comfortable. Like, once I get comfortable, I get a little on edge. Like, something in me is not right. Because I feel like if you're comfortable, you're not growing.
That's true. I think that there can be positives to comfort, as in, like, you're used to going to the gym at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning every day. Like, that's like a habit for you. That's your comfort zone. That's when you go. That's when you like to be there. I think it's when you get so comfortable with things in your life, even if they're not good, that you're not willing to change them.
Yeah.
Like, relationships. It's like, I'm not happy in this. You're not happy in this, but it's comfortable. So let's just stay here.
A lot of people
roommates,
don't leave relationships for that reason.
Yeah. Because it's a lot easier to be comfortable. It's better to live with the devil you know than the devil that you don't. Like, I know.
At least I know what I'm getting here.
It's comfortable.
Yeah. Another one, a big one, jobs.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will stay in a job because it's comfortable. They know it. That's scary to look for another job. And that's a horrible, horrible decision. I will stand by that forever because I've left a lot of jobs. And I remember when I was younger, it was a little harder, but I still did it. I still did it. But I won't stay somewhere I'm unhappy because you spend so much time. You spend more time
at work
than anything else. Yeah. If you don't enjoy it and you're just absolutely miserable, like, what kind of life is that?
It's a really poor quality of life, and you're also not giving your best to your job either, which is not great for anybody. When I left nursing to open the salon, people thought I was crazy.
Oh, they always think you're crazy.
Yeah.
They always think
And I was
crazy.
like, listen, for me, I can't stay in something where it's causing me more grief than joy. I'm a firm believer, and I think it's just because, getting to the age that I am and having lost people, you don't know how long you have.
Nope.
And I don't mean to sound like morbid or anything like that, but I really am big on you don't know how much time you have left, and I don't want to waste it. I mean, time is precious, and you start hitting an age where you realize, like, it really does go by. There's a reason older people are like, time goes by so fast.
It goes by fast.
And it's like the older you get, the faster it goes. And you're like, blink of an eye,
well,
man.
the busy you are too, the faster
Yeah.
it goes. So like if you're kind of relaxed most of the time and like not much going on, you just go to work, come home, leisurely, like it doesn't feel as fast. But the moment you have a lot of things going on and things are going, I mean, time flies.
Boom, boom, boom.
I don't even know what happened to last year.
Yeah. And that's how I feel being a mom and seeing my children is like, I see them every day. I'm with them every day. But then something will happen and it's like Makai turns 19 in June. And I was like,
wait a minute, you were just 5.
How are you turning 19? And it went by so fast. So fast. Like in the moments when you're a mom and you have a young child, it's like you're doing the diapers and the bottles and the school drop-offs and pickups and all this stuff. And you feel like you have forever with them. And then one day you look back and you've got, a 6'4", 22-year-old and you're like, what? When did this happen? It happened very quickly, but over time. But you're so caught in the present moment and living that time goes by really fast.
Well, and that's why we should stay in the present moments, right? And enjoy every one of them. I mean, you have to enjoy even the bad stuff, even the nasty stuff, because eventually you're going to look back and you're going to look at it like a lesson and it's going to be something positive. So just try not to wish for Friday or wish for, it to be September when it's only April.
We're all speeding time up. Like, I
crazy.
can't wait till it's summertime. I can't wait till it's this or that. And
I'm over here like, I don't even want tomorrow to come yet. I got things to do today.
Yeah. It's so true, man. Like, I feel like we rush through life. And then you get to the point where you're either at the end of your life or you're watching other people not have life anymore. And it's like, man, I wish I would have embraced those moments a little more and not sped through like, I can't wait till it's Friday. I can't wait till it's the weekend.
I hate when people say that.
I can't wait till that.
I hate it.
Instead of like, I'm enjoying the moment that I'm in right now because I don't know how many more of them I'm going to have.
I literally like do not like hope for things to like come faster. I've switched that mindset a long time ago, but like I have so much going on that like, yes, an event's exciting, but I'm not going to wish for it to be here today.
Yeah.
Like it's
Enjoy
great.
the time until then.
And then I'll probably forget until week
time.
of, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But like, you shouldn't hope for it to be Friday every week just because you work Monday through Friday. Like you shouldn't hope for the weekend because literally your entire week is 7 days long. You're hoping for 2 of them for 2 days. That's crazy.
And then it goes by so fast because you're like the whole week anticipating those days and what you're going to do. And you tend to pack it full of stuff because it's like, oh, it's the weekend.
And then bam, it's Monday.
Done, and you're back to Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. So enjoy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Embracing that too.
Yeah. Man, stop wishing life away. I'm telling you, that's such a poor mindset.
Yes.
Pretending you're fine when you're not. I know you're guilty of this, not me. I'll just be like, I'm on my period.
I have lived by that motto, fake it till you make it. I could be crumbling. And I will say, I think that is from being a single mom more is like, I could be going through hell and high water and you're not going to know about it unless you're a trusted person in my life that I actually tell. Like,
oh, I don't like put my things out there like that. Like, I'm not like an overly emotional person though. So like, I just power through things. I'm more of a like, I don't have time to be sad.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. But a lot of times, yes, when I've gone through struggles in life, I have acted like I'm perfectly fine.
Which I think is okay.
It's a some people mechanism for sure.
And like I cope better that way. I don't want to talk about it. I don't need to talk about it. And like you probably get a lot out in therapy because
Mhm.
you like use therapy and
Journaling,
journaling.
prayer, all that.
And yeah, so you have different ways to get it out.
Mhm.
So we don't necessarily bottle it up.
Mhm.
Like we're not pretending to be fine necessarily,
Yeah.
but we're not like gonna overly unload on someone
Mhm.
for no reason. I
And
feel like
don't
there's
even
a
think
balance.
it's like pretending to be fine. I think it's how do you even say I'm fine? Like I'm fine.
I guess
I'm
losing that.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
something I need to lose completely.
Yeah.
Because like when me and Justin get into an argument
Uh-huh.
and he says something and I'm fine.
Oh, anytime anybody says they're fine, they are
Yeah.
100%.
So that part I am guilty.
Not fine.
Because most of the time I'm just like, just freaking let it go. Like
Yeah.
I just don't like, and that's just because that's how I process things.
Mhm.
Just let it go, moving on.
Yeah, give me some time to chill
Yeah,
and we'll be fine.
Let me get the anger out because I have to just let it flow through me because
Yeah.
once I'm angry, I'm just angry and just let it go.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a time where I'm like, I'm fine. There are times where I'm good and I'm great, and there are times where I'm struggling, but I'm still going to keep going.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't really pretend I'm fine. It's like,
yeah. But
I'm
there are
living.
people that do.
Yeah.
There are people
Yeah.
that do. And this is more of just like things that like some of these habits, right?
Uh-huh.
We both of us have already broke.
Yeah.
And then there's some that we're still working on. And like there's some
And
that
for
we
the
just never
people
had.
that are, I'm fine, but you're really struggling, that's when I suggest getting help in some kind of way
Yeah.
because you might think you're handling it okay. But there's a snowball effect that comes along with I'm fine, but you're actually struggling
Mhm.
inside. Those are the moments that you need to be reaching out.
And just being aware of that,
Mhm.
aware that you're not fine.
Mm-hmm.
And you might put up a front to protect other people, or maybe because you just don't want to talk about it.
You don't want people in your business
Yeah.
or thinking you're weak or
Like the last thing I want to do is unload some crap on some people that I don't even want to talk about
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
And so like it's okay to do that, but like if you do need to let it out in some way, shape, or form, mine is just letting it go. I don't hold on to things. I just kind of forgive and forget is more. I would say I'm more of the forgive and forget. Like I don't hold a grudge. I'll just forgive you. It's fine. You know what I mean? But like I just need time to like just get the anger out and then move on. But some people need to like talk about it. And
yeah,
some
I'm
people
the one
need
that
to really
processes
and like
analyzes and
Yeah.
breaks it down. Yeah,
and
that's
there's
me.
ways to do that, right? You can get a therapist. You can talk to a friend. You can journal.
Yep.
You said prayer. There's ways to do that as well, but
Yep.
making sure that you're not just living in the I'm fine and then like bottling things
Yes.
up. That is probably the big thing.
Yes.
And I don't think either one of us really have a problem with that anymore. So
Yeah. But if you are,
I used to bottle it up. So,
yeah.
And then you explode.
Yes. That's where, like I said, the snowball effect,
Yeah.
where you just keep, I'm fine, and you're.
That was most of my life, honestly. I think I've brought it up before, but Justin's the reason that I've gotten through that. And now
sometimes people come into your life that they help you with the things you struggle with the most. And
so
sometimes people, it may not be your time that somebody comes into your life that helps you. So it's on you at the end of the day. You're struggling. You might have to reach out instead of somebody else coming in to help you.
Yeah. All right. We got 3 more left here.
All right.
Breaking promises to yourself. I knew she was going to make that face.
Ugh. I mean, it's easier to break promise to yourself than to somebody else.
Yes and no. It depends on who you are, I guess. I think we break a lot of promises to ourselves because it's easier to focus on other people. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced it as a mother, right? Like, oh, well, the kid's got this, so I'm just gonna have to put my stuff off. And which is being a good mom, but we've also talked a lot about like the self-care and things like that and taking care of yourself so you can be there for other people. So it's like finding a nice balance. And I feel like when you make a promise to yourself, it's really important that you keep it because the only person you can truly trust is yourself.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the like significance of the promise as well. Like, hey, I'm going to start working out and taking care of myself. That's a promise I've made to myself. And the benefits of that are me being happier, healthier, having a longer life, being a better mother, whatever. Something like we were supposed to go to an event tonight and my daughter forgot to tell me she had a concert. So it's like I'm not going to miss her concert for anything. If God willing, if I'm able to be there for something for her, I'm going to be.
But I think that's different.
Yeah, like if it's something
that's not even a promise to yourself. That was an event that you committed to, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it happens, right? Yeah. Like you texted me and I was like, no big deal.
Yeah,
it's fine.
There are certain things, like I said, like with the working out, or I'm gonna, commit to doing this, or I'm gonna make sure I'm going to work when I'm supposed to be there so that I'm able to take care of the things I need to take care of. If you're like breaking that consistently, obviously there's going to be long lasting effects. Yeah. So it's breaking promises to yourself. Yeah. I don't know that I make a lot of promises to myself,
which might be something to work on too. Like making promises to yourself is making goals for yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And so like taking care of yourself in some way, shape, or form. I mean, mm-hmm. I feel like you do though. Because when we did the New Year's, say,
like promises would be the term I would have thought of. Like,
yeah, but a goal is a promise to yourself if it's something to relate to you specifically. So like when we did the New Year's, we talked about resolutions and goals for the year. You make goals to yourself. Mm-hmm. You make goals.
I always have goals.
Yeah, and like some of them are specifically to you, mm-hmm. right? To like or these are a great example of breaking these habits. Mm-hmm. That's a promise you make to yourself to stop saying sorry so much, or to, make sure that you're not over explaining yourself or shrinking yourself. Those are all promises you make to yourself. I think those are the things though, like when we do these habits of saying yes when we mean no or whatever it may be, mm-hmm. we are breaking promises to ourselves because we're not putting ourselves first.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it, for me, probably is easier to break promises to myself if it means making somebody else happier. It's not easy for me to break promises to myself just because, there has to be a reason for it. And in a lot of situations, I do have to put other people before myself just because I am a mom. But I still try to follow through with the things that I want and to be consistent with it. But yeah, if you're in the habit of I'm going to start doing this. And then, you make it 3 days and you don't.
And like everything in life is a roller coaster mm-hmm. or it's messy, right?
Yeah.
And things come up and you're inconvenienced and maybe you got injured and you couldn't go to the gym for a couple days, or maybe you really got injured and you can't go for a while. Mm-hmm. And then you start with just walking again. But if you never start again,
yourself back up again.
Yes, that restart, mm-hmm. and not I'll do it on the 31st and it's July. Mm-hmm. You need to do it as soon as you can do it and make little steps towards it, because that is breaking a promise to yourself.
And showing up for yourself is important.
Messy, inconsistent, as long as you're still consistent overall, mm-hmm. then
and showing
that's
up
what
for
matters.
Yourself in the best way that you can.
Yes.
Because there's only one person in this life that is with me 24/7, that was born with me, that's going to die with me, and that's me. Mm-hmm. And when I'm not showing up for myself, I feel it. I know, nobody else. I could fake it, just like we talked about. Fake it till you make it. Yeah. Nobody else would know that I'm breaking promises to myself or not showing up for myself. It has an effect on me, because I like to have people in my life that I can rely on and count on. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to be there with me for everything. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not showing up for me, who am I going to show up for?
Yeah, exactly. So stop making promises to yourself you're not going to keep. And if you can't keep a promise to yourself, don't make it.
Or maybe make us I can't do this right now, so I'm going to do this and adjust it instead of just completely breaking that.
But also don't set yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm. And if you truly don't want it, happen where it's I had every intention of doing mm-hmm. this and now I can't. So let me adjust it. Let me make some changes to it. But I'm not just going to completely give up on that goal or whatever that I've set for myself.
If that's what you want, mm-hmm. you should always be working towards it, no matter how many different paths you have to
obstacles
take.
and
I mean, it's not a straight line.
yeah, life is
So,
not linear.
it's not.
Sure.
It's freaking messy.
Very.
Okay. Ooh, this one's my favorite. Avoiding hard conversations. And the reason it's my favorite is not because I avoid conversations. It's because I love having these conversations. So I used to hate it, and I love it. I'm so weird, but like it's really hard to start like a hard conversation. Like if you have an issue with somebody, sitting down and just being like, look, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
It's hard. And usually the person's response is not, it's not good. It's usually like, oh crap, and uncomfortable. But I love it because it always comes with a solution, because I am all about finding solutions and fixing problems. And that is just how my brain works. So I love these conversations. I've had many of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them are great. Not all of them end well.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And, but I love them. I really do. I just love them. It's probably because I like to talk too, but.
No, I was going to say that I think some of the hardest conversations in life are the ones that produce the most growth and clarity.
Yes.
Because when you're avoiding the hard conversations, you can keep going about life as normal, right? Staying silent to keep the peace, all of those things. Having the hard conversations, first and foremost, I think if you're having hard conversations with somebody, it's somebody that you care about, because you wouldn't even be having a hard conversation with somebody that was insignificant. So if it's a hard conversation, it's somebody that you're already invested in. A hard conversation is going to give you clarity on whether you're going to be able to like work on the relationship or you're not going to be able to work on the relationship. And at least you can move on from there. And it gives you that forum to be able to say the things you're feeling, they're feeling. And a lot of times we as humans, we get defensive. We want to defend ourselves. We want to have our perspective. And having those hard conversations allows you to kind of.
I think too, most of the time people appreciate you bringing up hard conversations. Because it is a hard thing to bring up and it is a hard thing to discuss, and it doesn't mean that the other side doesn't want to have that conversation. They just don't know how to bring it up.
Maybe they were too awkward to start the conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe the hard conversation is going to completely suck and be awful, but at least you get some kind of clarity from it.
Yeah.
Which is, this person doesn't give a crap to even have a hard conversation with me.
Sometimes it's closure. Sometimes it's literally closure, like maybe an end of a relationship.
Yeah, it's true. Those hard conversations, man.
I love them because there's always an outcome, right? Like there's always a solution at the end, whether it's good or bad. Sometimes it's the end of an era with someone, and like sometimes there's a solution and it fixed the problem.
And sometimes it opens up a dam of everything else that needed to be said that hadn't been said.
And sometimes you need that release, because we bottle up all these things. I mean, you got to talk through them, and you got to fix it, because all it does is tear apart relationships when you don't.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Staying silent is not the business, y'all.
So just talk about it.
I think that's the theme of this podcast.
My bad.
Being silent.
All right, last one. Expecting different results from the same patterns. So I feel like both of us are pretty good about this now.
I'm going to be honest with you. That is something that I am like working on diligently currently.
Okay.
It is one of the biggest things in my life right now, is to stop doing the same things and expecting different results. Not only, I'm not speaking for other people, just for myself personally, is like, I can't continue to do certain things and expect it to be different. Like, I have things that I have to change about myself and work on. And, you know, you'll fall, like, you start to try to make a change, and then it's like you fall back into the same patterns. And then you're like, oh, I really should change this. And then you fall back into the same pattern. And, like, the evolution, figuring out who you are, loving yourself, all of that, that comes with change. Change is never freaking easy.
It's never comfortable.
Ever
it's always
easy.
scary.
It is the hardest thing. If you are truly making changes in your life and on your person, it is going to be extremely difficult.
Yes.
It's going to be worth it in the long run.
I'm going to throw you with 100%.
That being said,
we can't help ourselves.
It is very difficult. I will acknowledge, for sure, you get into, like we said, comfortable things where it's like, I'm feeling stressed out, or I'm feeling unwanted or unloved, so I'm going to go back to the things that make me feel wanted and loved, or I'm going to go back to the things that help me with my stress. And those are patterns that I am working on.
Which at least you're working
broken
on
that. Kudos to you.
Yeah, I have. I actually embrace change, and like I actually look forward to changing things and fixing things, and I'm all about like, you know, it's like a puzzle, you know, I'm still putting myself together, and sometimes this doesn't work, but then I'm going to try this, and it's an ongoing thing, and it's not something that I've always been good at, but like I will say, for the most part, when it comes to like repeating things, I've never been like, I'm able to let go of things pretty easy, even relationships when I was younger and things like that. Like once I decide something, I'm done.
Yeah, and we've talked about the fact that you don't have an addictive personality
No.
at all.
Which I do think plays a part because you obviously do. We've talked about
fall
that.
Back into those same patterns, yep.
Yeah, and I don't have like, I don't have anything holding me down. Like I can literally throw away all of my stuff and not care. Like I'm not like addicted to anything. Like obviously there's things I like and I'll want for a little while, but like if somebody's like, you can't have it anymore, I just be like, okay, all right, oh darn, like it's not something I need. And so yeah, I don't have that addictive personality. So this has actually always been easy for me. I don't have, and I'm not a very emotional person, especially for a female. Like I'm very like I don't know why I'm structured this way. I'm more logic thinker than an emotional thinker, and I've kind of always been that way, and so I think that's part of it too. So,
and it's amazing that none of us, however many billion people there are, there's no two of us that are exactly the same.
No,
you know, some of us you might use like 70% of your logical side and 30% of your emotional side. I might use 98% emotional and 2% logical.
That's why we balance each other out, though.
You know,
I got the 2% of emotional that makes 100, and then
exactly correct. But we all deal with things differently. We all have our vices, our things that we're very strong and confident with. That's what makes the world go round. The only thing that we can do is continue to work on the things that we know we're falling short on and embrace the things that we know we're strong in.
Yeah, and I mean that pretty much sums up this whole episode, really. I mean, the goal was to go through breaking habits. We're talking about all the habits that are bad for us, right? Breaking the ones that break you.
Biggest thing for that takeaway for the ending of this episode would be being able to recognize the things that you need to break and change.
And that goes with analyzing yourself, figuring out the things you don't like, not what other people don't like. Shut out all the voices around you. What don't you like? What do you want to change? Yep. And then do that. And make those promises to yourself that you're going to keep.
Exactly. Not thinking about, obviously there are certain things we want to think about how it's going to affect other people, but at the end of the day, like I said, you're born with yourself, you're dying with yourself. What are you doing for this to be happy and fulfilled, and for me to be able to look at myself and be like, I'm really proud of the woman that I am. And that means breaking a lot of those things.
And you should be proud of yourself for where you're at today, but you should also be proud of yourself every single day for progressing into the person that you want to be.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, this was a fun episode.
It was.
A lot of unexpected long conversations. But it was good. It was good. I mean, moral of it is break those habits that will break you. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.